So, till yesterday, we had stopped till LCM and HCF. And there are various methods as to how to find LCM and HCF. Now, let us take a small example so that everybody of you are on the same page. So, let me give you two numbers, 35 and 42. Now, find the HCF and find the LCM of these two numbers, guys. Yeah, take a minute and do it quickly, just to have an idea of how it is and what it is. I hope everybody knows what is LCF and HCF. Anybody who doesn't know it? Yeah, guys, quickly answers. Perfect. I see all of you are getting the answers. But just three people have given me the answers among all of you. Okay, great. Great then. Yes, guys, the HCF is 7 and the LCM is 210. Perfect. Now let us see how it is being found out. So to move by, what is 35? 35 is 7 into 6 and 7 into 5, and 42 is 7 into 6. This is the prime factorization. Now if I have to find out HCF, I will find out the smallest prime factor first and then add on all the common prime factors. I mean multiply all the common prime factors to obtain the highest common factor. Here I see there's only just one factor that is common, that is 7. Had there been a into 4 here or into 2 here, I would have taken 2 as well. So HCF would have become 7 into 2 because 2 is common. But that is not the case. So we'll ignore that part and HCF will be 7 in this case. Now in terms of LCM, you will have to see LCM is a number which is the lowest possible and should be divisible by both of these, 35 as well as 42. Now, the first important step for whenever finding the LCM is knowing the HCF. First, write down the HCF and cancel them out. Now, whatever prime factors that are remaining and are co-prime to each other, write them down. So, in from 35 we get 5 and from 42 we get 6. And this is how you will obtain LCM. This part is clear, guys? Everybody? Any doubts? Okay, perfect. Now, there's also one more method, and that is using division. For that, what is generally being done is you take the bigger number and then divide it by smaller number. So in this case, 42, 35. 35 anza is 35. What is left? What is left is 7. and this number now becomes the dividend. So 35. 7 fives is 35. Remainder is 0. It means this is the HCF. Pretty standard method, nothing new. Keep on dividing it, and once you divide it, the divisor becomes the dividend next. Had there been, let's say, there was a remainder of 5 here, for example. Now what will happen in the next case? 7 will come here. This 7 would have come here, and after 5 you will get 2. Now you'll then 5 will come here. So after this you will again get 2. Then 2 2s are 4. You will get 1. Again you will have 2 2. That means if then this is the HCF. That means they are co-primes to each other. Everybody understood the concept of how division works in HCF?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect then. Try out a sum, and the numbers would be a little bigger ones, and yeah, find the HCF of these numbers. Take 2 minutes. Quick. Our the answers in chat box privately, as well as the LCM. No, aspect your answer is not correct. Yes, Prerit and Mandeep, right answers. I want the LCM as well. Great, Sorel. Your HCF and LCM are correct. Alright guys, it's taking way too much time than I expected. Let me jump in. Also 2 minutes are done. I need speed from you guys. If we move at such a slow pace, numbers will take a lot of time. So yeah, taking the smaller number as the divisor and the bigger number as dividend. What will be the, and taking this number again back here. Now if we do this, it will, if we divide by 100, it should take 13. So less than that, it should be 14. Okay. So 14, 4 4s are 16, 13, 16. Perfect. And then you will have it 94 will be the divisor and the remainder is 47. Perfect. 94, 47, 2. Yeah, great. 47 is the answer. So we get the numbers. HCF is 47 because that's the thing that resulted in the zero remainder. Now, how to find the LCM? 1363 is 47 into something, and 1457 is 47 into something. Now, what is that something, guys?
29 and 31.
Perfect. 29 and 31. So, how will we find the LCM? First, what will we write?
47 into 29 into 31.
Perfect. I know you have written the right answer. I want the process. First, we'll write the LCM, sorry, HCF, and cancel it out. Then we'll see if they are co-prime to each other or not. If they are not co-prime, try to write only the prime factors here. If they are co-prime, directly write down the numbers. And this is how you will get the answer 42,253. This will be the LCM. Everybody clear, guys? Everybody understood it? Any doubt?
No.
Okay, great. Let's move forward. Let's take a question, a short and easy question. Find the smallest number. Find the smallest number which when divided by 5 or 11 leaves a remainder of 4. Which when divided by 5 or 11 leaves a remainder of 4. And this number should be greater than the remainder. Let's see how we do it. I'll give you 2 minutes. Think. I know I've given you a tricky question. After this, I will be discussing the concept as to how to proceed. But first, think for 2 minutes. Hint is you will use the concept of HCF and LCM. Yes, Anshula, your answer is correct. Right answer, Sohail. Sorry guys, I got disconnected. So what's the answer, everybody? Yes,
59.
59. Perfect. Who will explain how did we get 59?
LCM of 5 and 11 plus remainder.
Perfect. We will use the concept of LCM because it is given in the question. We have to find the smallest number which when divided by 5 or 11 gives a remainder 4, and the number should be greater than the remainder. So number which when divided by 5 or 11, 5 or 11 giving 4, we could have done this directly. Then why the concept of LCM? Why finding LCM if we can directly multiply?
In
Anybody?
the in this case, these are co-primes. That's the reason
Yes,
it
yes,
is
yes, you're
satisfying.
correct. Yes. Here we have the co-prime numbers. If the numbers are not co-prime, the criteria will fail and will not get the final answer. So yes, whenever we have such a thing, you basically do is find the LCM. Let's say the numbers are P and Q. So LCM of P and Q, and then plus minus whatever criteria is given to you. You will have to add or subtract something and you will get the answer. Moving on to next part. Uh, Now I will give you one more question, and that would be find the largest find the largest 3-digit number, not 2-digit. Find the largest 3-digit number, which when divided by 8 or 12 will leave a remainder of 2 in both the cases.
Kesari,
When
I have
divided by
one
8,
doubt.
yeah, go ahead.
So in this case, since that is a co-prime pair, even the largest number possible also is for 59, right?
No, you can have multiples of 59.
Right. I get it.
It's not necessary. If I take 2 times the LCM and then add 4, that would be 114, right? Will 114 give me the remainder of 4 as well?
Yes.
Yeah, so 59 is not the largest number. Got this part clear?
Yes.
Okay, now moving to our next question, that is find a 3-digit number and largest 3-digit. It's like the question Ashwik was asking right now. So find the largest 3-digit number which when divided by 8 and 12 as well will give me the remainder of 2 in both the cases. Let's see. It is little challenging than the previous term, but almost similar. No Ashvik, no Prerit. And you have to use LCM again. No Ashvik, not correct yet again. Sohail, you are quite close, almost there. I think you have made a silly mistake at the last step. Think, guys, think. And no Prerit. You are close, but that's not the answer. Take a minute, guys. I require answers from everybody. Spandana, I'm not getting any answers from you today. Do you have a network issue or
Yeah,
are you
I'm
not able to
doing.
understand?
No, I'm doing.
Okay. No, Aswik, it's not 770. Yes, Anshula, right answer. Yes, Prerit, even you have got the right answer now. 30 seconds more, guys. I require right answer from everybody. All right, let's start with it. So, guys, just two heads up. What is the LCM of 8 and 12?
24.
24. Perfect. So, the number, let's say k is the number. So, when dividing k should be of the form of 24 times x plus 2, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So, if I divide 1000 by 24, what is the divisor? 1000 by 24. What is the quotient? My bad. I used the wrong terminology. What is the quotient? You can use your
41.
calculator, guys. Sorry,
41.
41.
41 point.
6.
Yeah.
Round of 7.
Yes. Remove that decimal part because that is what is helping it exceed 1000. Now put x is equal to 41 and tell me what do you get as the answer.
984.
986.
Yeah, 984. Perfect. And 21 into 41 is 24 into 41 will be 984. But
Yes.
we want the answer in the form of this, right?
Yes.
So we'll add 2 and we'll get 986.
Yes.
Is this part clear, guys? Everybody? The main important part was this, arriving at this. This will be very important, guys. The sheet which I will be sharing with you after just as the lecture ends, I will be sharing the sheet and it will contain a lot of questions of the similar format. Actually, I wanted to discuss it yesterday, but it would have required more half an hour. So unfortunately, I had to delay that part. Is this part clear, guys? How we got the formula for the number? Everybody?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's move forward then with one more new concept. And this time will involve 3 numbers instead of 2. So now just listen to the question, that is, find the smallest number. Find the smallest number which when divided by 4, 11 or 13 by anybody leaves a remainder 1. Find out, guys. This is an easy question, 30 seconds. I'm asking smallest number. Yes, Prerit and Ashvik, right answers. I see your concepts have become clear now. Great. Yeah, Mandeep, same. Right answer. Others, hurry up. Yes, Anshula, right answer. Okay, guys. Moving forward. So basically what you will have to do is find the LCM of 4, 11 and 13 and then add plus 1. That will give me the answer. So the LCM is 572 and then add 1, you will get 573. In the previous question, guys, if I had asked for the smallest number, what would have been the answer? Reply privately.
122.
No, no. In the previous question, if I had asked for the smallest number,
26.
smallest number, I'm not asking smallest 3-digit number or so, smallest number,
Yeah,
which when divided by 8 and 12 will leave remainder 2.
26.
26.
Yes, exactly, 26. Now did you understand? When I'm asking you the smallest number, x becomes 1. So basically what you will be doing is find the LCM and then add or subtract whatever is given in the question. When the criteria changes, you will have to find this x according to the changing criteria. Like here it was, the criteria was find the greatest 3-digit number. So compare it with the smallest 4-digit number and subtract whatever is remaining, and then you will get x, and finally you will get the answer. Understood the approach, everyone? Any doubts? Okay, great then.
Kesari, one dot. Once can you
Yeah,
scroll up?
go ahead.
So in the above problem, we have first divided 1000 with 24 and took the quotient and accordingly we did, right?
Yes,
Okay, my bad. Okay, sorry. I thought it is
we have
976.
done that because we have to find the largest 3-digit number.
Okay, so if it is 4-digit number, then I have to divide 24 with 10,000 and
Yeah,
ask about that quotient, right? Okay.
yes, because that will help you identify till what number does 24 does not exceed, multiple of 24 does not exceed 10,000,
Okay.
because that decimal part is allowing it to exceed that 10,000 part. Understand it?
Right.
Yeah. Now we will have another example one, and that is, yeah, guys, one more thing. While you are solving this part, this question, there's one close observation which will make this question easier, and that is, you have found out the HCF of these two numbers. Can I say HCF of 1363 and 94 is also the same?
Yes.
Right.
Everybody, any
Yes.
doubt? Okay. Why can I say so? See, if given A and B, the HCF of A as well as A minus B or B minus A in any order will still be the same. Because, and why it is so? Like I had said, when there are two numbers, P and Q, I had mentioned this yesterday. There are two numbers P and Q. How will they be in the form of, if their HCF is H, they will be represented in the form of HA and HB. Now when you subtract them, this subtraction part will still have that HCF common and it will not just vanish away. And that's why using this formula still helps. Hope you understand this concept, because you can exploit this when you are being tasked with such great numbers. It will really help you guys. Okay, so going forward, going to the next concept of LCM, and that would be, let's say suppose you are given the numbers. No, let me give you an example first directly. Find the smallest number which when divided by 9 and 11. You have to find the smallest number which when divided by 9 and 11 will give you the remainders of 7 and 9 respectively. It might sound tricky, but the concept I gave you just now will be very useful. Number when divided by 9 or 11 gives the remainder 7 and 9 respectively. I have to find smallest such number. Your time starts now. 2 minutes. Asvik, I want just one number, not two numbers. No, Prerit. Your answer might be correct, but that's not the smallest. No, Anshula, that's not the correct answer. Guys, when you get the answers, try putting those values in the question and see if it satisfies the criteria or not. Yes, Anshula, now your answer is correct. So I've received my first right answer. Great. Even though if it was hit and trial, it is right. Others, 1 more minute. No, Manideep, that's not the answer. 30 more seconds, guys. All right, let's discuss then. Since we have got just one right answer, Anshula, what approach did you use?
Please refrain you to speak out. I use it and when you said my answer 106 is wrong, I just start moving backward, and I found number 97. When I divided this number with 9, first of all, actually I try number with 8, 11. I divide the multiples
So
of
you used
11.
hit and trial.
Yeah. Actually, I
Okay.
add the remainder as well.
Okay, all right, great. I had a hunch you might have used hit and trial. And my hit and trial hunch of your hit and trial was right.
This is compliment or
Consider it both.
thank you.
Okay, yeah, guys. Till now, what is the first step you might have used? That is LCM, 9 and 11. What did you guys get it from here?
99.
99.
Perfect, 99. Now the question given is when divided by 9, the remainder is 7, but when divided by 11, the remainder is 9, and they have to be the same number. So let's say that number is x, k, yet again. So for first criteria, to satisfy the first criteria, it should be 9x plus 7, right? And for the second
Yes.
criteria, it should be 11x1. Here x1 will be different, plus 9, right? Can we say this part? So basically, if I equate both of them, 9x plus 7 is equal to 11x1 plus 9. Or can I get this part? 11x1, any way you can take. Better it's like this: 11x1 minus 9x is equal to minus 2. Can I do this part?
Yes.
Okay. Now, where did this minus 2 come from, guys?
7 minus 9.
Yes.
Yeah, that is 7 minus 9. Great. This part, now understanding this part is important. We have had 9x, we have had 11x1. What minus 2 is representing is, if we combine these two cases, what is the net resultant that needs to be added to the LCM? And you might think, why minus 2? Why not 9x minus 11x1 and take 7 on that side and add 2? Well, you can do this, but 11x1 is the bigger number. That's why we are taking this one. That's why we are representing it in this way: 11x1 minus 9x. Now now subtract 2 from this number. What do you get?
97.
97. Now guys, check, does 97 satisfy the criteria? When divided by 9, it gives the remainder 7, and when divided by 11, it gives a remainder of 9. Does this give you the criteria, guys?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what do you think then is the standard formula? We derived a pattern. So let's generalize it. Now let me write this down in a simplified format, and please do copy this, guys, because this is important format and you can expect a lot of questions. So let's say they are given three numbers P, Q, R, and when divided by, sorry, this is P, Q, R, which are the divisors, and when you divide a standard number K, you get the remainders as S, T, and U. Now what you have to do is you can follow this approach, that is P minus S, Q minus T, and R minus U. This is a form of question. Will be generally equal to B. And your answer would be K times LCM of P, Q, R minus V. Remember this minus V? This is how you will get the number.
Kesari, what is K here?
K, remember this X? Remember this X?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the K.
Okay.
Yeah. Since we have to find the smallest number, K will become 1. Now try using this formula and solve the previous question.
Kesari, one doubt in this.
Yes.
So here, is it, I mean, was it true for this? Like what I find is now, if I do a HCF for 9 and 11, so at the first step itself, I got
HCF
the,
of 9 and 11 is 1.
yeah, is one. But when I was doing that, steps, so I was doing dividing 9 by 11 and I got a remainder 2. So
When
the
you
very,
divide 9 by 11, how will you get a remainder of 2?
11 by
sorry.
It should be 11 by 9, right? You are
Yeah,
dividing 11
sorry.
by
Yeah.
9.
Yeah, 11 by 9. So,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
11 by 9, if I'm doing that, I got the remainder 2. So then
Yes.
the very next step, I got the HCF. Now, can I do such a way where the before step where the divisor was a 2, that if I subtract with the LCM, that is fetching me the 97 number.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Could you
Now,
explain it once again?
yeah, so when I'm dividing 11 by 9, so the very,
One second. I will write it down as well. Yeah, you are dividing 11 by 9.
so yeah, the very first step, I got the remainder as 2.
Perfect.
The next step, if I go 2 divided by 9 divided by 2, then 4 is 8, then 1. Then here I got the HCF,
And what is the HCF you got?
1.
Yeah.
So,
So what difference does it make?
so my doubt here is, now
Huh.
before 1 we had some divisor 2.
Okay.
So or the quotient 2. This
Yeah, yeah.
quotient, if
Okay.
I subtract it with the LCM, is fetching me 97.
See, here it's a coincidence that we are getting 2 here as well and we are getting 2 here as well.
Ah, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
These two are completely unrelated.
Okay.
Here you are finding HCF. Here you are finding LCM and subtracting them. It's a coincidence that in both the places you are getting 2.
Yeah, because the multiple things, like even 9 minus 11 was 7, 9 minus 7 was 2,
Yeah, yes,
so
yes,
multiple
yes,
places. So I
yes.
was running around that.
Yeah. Is this part clear, guys? I know this typical standard problems sometimes prove difficult to understand, but yeah, have keeping this template in mind will help. Everybody clear with this? Any doubts? And depending upon, let's say if it is asked, find the smallest 6-digit number, smallest 3-digit number, largest 4-digit number, k will change. And you know now how to find out k, like we had found out in this question. So let me ask you guys a question then, based on the similar pattern, and
Okay,
that
sir.
would be, yes,
Instead
go
of
ahead.
say here, because we took it as smallest number, we took k to be 1, right? So here,
Yes,
if we
because we have to find the smallest number.
smallest number, yeah. So if we
Yes.
take it, if we consider largest, so just that the 99, I mean, k will become 99. Is it? Say largest
K
two-digit,
can become
two-digit.
anything depending on the question. Like if it is asked, find the largest 3-digit number. So what you are getting as the LCM is 99. When you divide 1000 by 99, you will get 10 point something.
Yeah. So 10 will be.
So that, now remove that point, and like it was 24 into x, your x is now 10. So 99 into 10 will be 990. Now add and subtract whatever is given in the question.
Yeah. Okay.
For this part? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, it's because we will be using the similar concept right now. So find the largest. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, one more doubt. So here
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
when I'm finding out k, so I'm adding a reminder there. I mean 24x into, I mean some HCF into x into x
It is
plus
not HCF. It is LCM.
sorry LCM into x plus we are adding the reminder. Now in this case, which one should I add? Should I add 7 or 9?
You have to add -2. That's
No,
why I stated the formula.
for finding out the k value.
For finding out the k value, you don't have to add or subtract anything. See, what was the LCM here? 99 for these two numbers.
Yes.
Now I want the largest 3-digit number. Now
Yeah,
largest 3-digit number is 999.
correct.
You can divide this or you can use 1000. Since dividing 1000 is much easier because it will have less calculations, that's why I choose this. You can also take this, no worries. Now when dividing by this, you will get the quotient 10 point something something. Now this point something something is helping it to exceed 1000, right?
Yes.
This part will, if we just use this part, it will limit it just below 1000 and will give a perfect multiple of 99,
Okay. Right.
which we are after.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Now finding out the question, and that would be, find the largest 4-digit number. Largest 4-digit number, which when divided by 9 and 11 leaves the remainder 7 and 9. Question is almost same, just a few things have changed. Now tell me what is the answer. Yes, 3 of you have got the correct answer. Great. Others? Great. So I see you guys have understood the concept. Then let's move forward. So now, let's take a simple question, and this will be a new concept. Find out the smallest number which, when divided by 7, gives the remainder 3, and when divided by 5, gives the remainder 2. Now this is a new type of question, guys. Smallest number. Let's see how do you guys handle this one.
What was the answer of previous question?
It's the same thing there. You have to find the LCM, that's 99. Then you go about it. So you will get 9999, 4 times 9, and then subtract -2. Sorry, add -2. You will get 9997. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Solve this question, guys. Smallest number when divisible by 5 gives the remainder 3, and when divided by 5 gives the remainder 2. I have 2 different answers. I won't be telling who is correct right now. Let's wait. Yeah, guys, answers. I've just received 2. Okay, let's begin. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time. Yeah, guys. So let that number be k. Now, can I represent k as 7x plus 3, and also k is equal to 5 y plus 2? Is this part clear, guys?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, according to the question, 7x plus 3 is equal to 5y plus 2. This should be also clear. Now, can I say y is equal to 7x plus 1 divided by 5? Guys, can I say
Yes,
this part?
yes.
Yeah. Now for this to be integer and should be completely divisible by 5 because y needs to be an integer as well. So let's divide this whole thing by 5. Can I get here? I will get x plus 2x plus 1 by 5. Is this part clear, guys?
Yes.
Now according to the question, why we get this? Now this should be completely divisible by 5, right? So what will be the smallest value of x for which y for this entity will be completely divisible by 5?
2.
2.
2.
Perfect. 2. If we put x is equal to 2, what do we get the value of y?
3.
Perfect. So x is 2, y is 3. What do we get here?
79.
Do we get 17?
Yeah.
Then that's the answer. Everybody clear with this, guys? Any doubts? See, the previous template which we had worked will only work when the difference between the remainders is the same. That's why -2 approach worked there. That's a particular template. If there's no template given and we have to still find the smallest number, this is the approach we have to use.
So, I mean, similar case where you have to find out the largest three digit or smallest three digit, then we have to find the value of x as we used in the previous sums.
Yes, yes. In such conditions, see, you won't be asked find the largest number because that would be time consuming. Because then again, like we had seen 24 into x, you will have to find then x, and then it will become time consuming. There's a chance that might be asked, but generally, questions will be asked on this format. Generally,
Okay.
but yeah, I like you had mentioned. If we are asked the largest one, we have to follow the previous approach.
Okay.
Everybody clear with this part? Okay, then let me give you a new question, and that would be find the smallest number which when divided by 11 gives remainder 7, and when divided by 13 gives a remainder 12. Smallest number yet again. Calculated, guys. And answers privately. Follow the method of the previous question, guys. The numbers have changed, the approach is exactly similar. Yes, great. I see every one of you is getting the answers right. Perfect then. Uh, now what we'll do is we have basically just remaining with two more concepts, and majority of our part of numbers would be quite done and you guys would be ready to solve the questions. So now the important part, and that would be successive division. Basically, whatever new concept we are learning after the previous one, it just adds on something to whatever we have learned in the previous one. Now, how is it used and when it is used? Now, let's see if 2479, a random number, it is divided by three numbers, or let's make it a little difficult. Let's say four numbers: 3, 5, 7, and then 2. But they are divided in succession. That means first by 3, whatever you get by 3, that is divided by 5, whatever you get by 5, that is divided by 7, and then by 2. Now let's start it. So what we'll have is, first we'll have the dividend, the quotient, the remainder. So initially we have 2479. The quotient is 3. Sorry, the divisor would be 3. After dividing it, we'll get the quotient as 826, and the remainder would be 1. Now, like I had said, we are dividing it successively. That means whatever we are left after dividing with 3, we'll divide it by 5. So the new divisor would be 5. Now, what will be the dividend, guys?
826.
827.
826. 826, not 827. We're dividing it successively. So, yeah, it will be 826. We'll get here
165.
165, yes, and that will be the remainder. So next again, we have a new divisor as 7, and our dividend would be 165. Here we will get 23.
23.
Perfect.
4.
And the last one remaining is 23. So here we will have 11, and then we'll have 1. Now, can we say when 2479 was divided successively by 3, 5, 7, and 2, we got the remainders as, sorry, this would be 1, yeah, my bad. We got the remainders as 1, 1, 4, and 1. Can we say this part?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now let's take the reverse of it. I am asking now if any number, now I do not know this number, okay? Now let's do run in opposite direction. Find me a number when divided successively by 3, 5, 7 and 2 will give me remainders 1, 1, 4 and 1. How do you proceed, guys?
Multiply by 2, add 1.
Think. I know multiplier by 2, add 1 and all. I need the total approach, guys. You have to derive it. I'm giving you 2, 3 minutes. Think. 2 minutes. And once you find out, take one more question so that I will be able to understand it, that you guys have understood the formula. And that is, when divided by 3, 5 and 6 successively, the remainders are 1, 3 and 2. Successively, when divided by 3, 5 and 6 in that order, the remainders are 1, 3 and 2. How many such numbers can I get which are less than 1000? If you have understood, if you have decoded this part, you will be able to solve this part. Think, guys. Take 5 minutes, 6 minutes, doesn't matter, but I need it. I need the answer from everybody. Prerit, I want the answer as well to the next question I've given. Think. I will discuss it very
Yeah, I'm solving that.
minutely, every details. Yeah. Anshula, I will give the answers at the end of 5 minutes, not now. I'm not telling you are wrong or right. I will give the answers at the end. Guys, I don't see much responses. Let me discuss first and then you solve now. So here, first we are divided by 3, then by 5, then by 7, and finally by 2. Can I say this number is of the form 3q1 plus 1? Here it is of the form 5q2 plus 1. Here this number is of the form 7q3 plus 4, and this number is of the form 2q4 plus 1. Can I say that, guys?
Yes.
Everybody, any doubt? Okay, perfect. Now this was multiplied first, then by this, then by this, sorry, divided, then finally by this. So can we say here 165 is 23 into 7 plus 4? 165 is, sorry, 826 is 165 into 5 plus 1. So if we just move up the ladder, the final number we will get is 2q4. Let me write it here. 2q4 plus 1, that will be multiplied by 7, because that is what is my value of q3, plus 4. Now this is my value of q2 into 5 plus 1. This is my value of q1, and finally plus 1. If I solve this, well, can I get finally 2479? We are just deconstructing the problem.
Yes.
Everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now just solve the brackets and tell me what you get finally.
210 plus 169.
Sorry?
210 Q1 plus 169.
This will not be, yeah, you can, this will not be Q1 because I'm just stating it. You will have something K plus 169. Now, can I say the small, if I take K as 0, can I say the smallest possible value is 169, guys?
Yes.
And then depending upon the question, how big or how small or whatever is the asked, I will put appropriate value of K and I will get the answer. Is this part clear, guys? Everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now solve this question and now give me the answer. Anshula, your answer was correct. Now solve it, guys. I'll give you 3 minutes because it involves calculation. Take 3 minutes and solve. Use this concept now. And answers privately. 3 minutes are up, guys. Aswik, this number you have replied me, what is it? I don't understand.
The number which is less than 1000.
I want how many numbers are less than 1000.
Oh, okay, okay. Sorry.
The number which is less than 1000 is correct, but yeah, fine, perfect, correct answer. And what is the smallest one?
130.
Yes, perfect. Others? Everybody awake or done for the day already?
Monday feels.
Hmm. But still, they shouldn't be like that. At least this is not Monday morning blues. Yeah, guys, I require answers. Is it that you are not understanding the concept or what?
So the number, according to how we solved it previously, it can be represented like 30x plus 40. Is that right?
30x. You are partially right, I would say. See, let me solve the question. The number k, can it be represented initially as 3x plus 1, then as 5x1 plus 3, next, and then next as 6x2 plus 2, right, guys? And this is the last part that is getting divided, so this will remain inside the inner bracket. Now this is basically your x1, so you will do it this. This is basically your x, so you will do this part. Everybody clear with this part? Who did not understand, please reply. I'll repeat it once again. Okay, I don't see any comments, then I suppose it is clear. Now you can get from here is 30x2 plus 10 plus 3 into 3. What you will get here is 90 times x2 plus 13 3s are 39 plus 140. So finally you will get is, replace this by k1 or any constant k. This is the general form of your answer. Now to get the smallest number, 3-digit number, and the largest ones. So smallest 3-digit number, if I take k1 as 0, will I get the smallest 3-digit number?
Yes.
No.
No, you will get only 40, and that's not a 3-digit number. If I ask just the smallest number, yes, you will take k is equal to 0 and you will get 40. But I'm asking smallest 3-digit number, you will take k1 is equal to 1 and you will get 130. Now I'm asking is, find the total numbers that you will have below 1000. So basically, what are these numbers? If I put k1 is 1, first I will put 0, then I will put 1, it will give me 130. Then I will put 2, it will give me 220, and so on. 90 90 90 difference. So basically, if I divide 1000 by 90, what do I get? It gives me 11 point, right? So if I just take 11, that's it, remove this, what will I get? 990. But when I add this 40, it will exceed this as well, right? It will exceed 1000. That means we cannot even take 11 here. We will have to be content with 10. Is this part clear, guys?
Kesari, one doubt. If I consider k to be 0, then 40 is directly divisible by 5, right? I won't get a remainder 3.
Aswik, I guess you are confusing the question. These are being divided successively, not individually.
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, happens, don't worry. If this were individually, I could not have used this approach. I would have to use 3x plus 1 is equal to 5x plus 3 is equal to 6x2 plus 2, right?
Yeah, I got confused.
Yeah, there's a
Multiple
difference.
methods.
Yeah, yes, happens. That's why I'm recommending you guys, this number sessions, don't try to miss them. I guess if I extend the session by today by half an hour, it will take one more session. Otherwise, it can go to 1.5 more sessions, because we took some time, but hopefully we have understood the concepts. And I require every one of you to please revise these concepts. These are very important. And yes, leaving 5 to 6 questions in quant just because they are from numbers is a very risky shot. So yes, guys. Now you will have to take, coming back to the question, you cannot take 11 because that will exceed again. So what we'll have to do is you will have to take 10. When you take 10, you will get is 940. That is a 3-digit number less than 1000. So starting from 0 to 10, how many numbers do we get?
11.
11. And how many of them are 3-digit numbers?
10.
10. Perfectly. That's the answer. And be careful, guys. They can twist the questions. Once they can ask how many 3-digit numbers, your answer will be 10. But if they ask how many total numbers, your answer would be 11, because 0 has to be counted. Is this part clear, guys?
Yes.
Everybody, any doubt, ask me right now. This is not so easy concept and it requires clear understanding. So before moving forward, I want everybody to either type in the chat box. If it is not clear, type it is not clear. If it is clear, then yeah, type clear, please. Everybody, guys, I would request everybody to type in the chat box so that I can understand. Okay, great. Great, then let's move now to a new concept, and that is the concept of remainders. But just before that, I forgot just one more thing. That is power of a number. A small concept before moving to remainders part. Now, what power of a number gives is, let's say, you are given, and this will be in the specific format, guys. These questions always appear in a specific format. So, the only format where you will be twisted and confused is generally this one, this and this. Otherwise, we are learning so many formats because questions are asked in such standard formats. Now, in this power of a number, what happens is you will be given a factorial. I hope everybody knows what is a factorial. Anybody who
Yes,
does not know a factorial? Anybody who does not know a factorial, what is not a factorial? Okay. All right, great. Just asking a basic standard question. Guys, what is 0 factorial?
1.
1.
And what is 1 factorial?
1.
1.
Why so? Why so, guys? Why are they both 1? Or first, what is the definition of a factorial, guys? Anybody? How was factorial defined?
Factorial is the product of all the numbers till means x factorial is 1 into 2 into till x.
Then why is 0 factorial 1?
It's the arrangement of data sets.
Sorry, I did not get you.
Arrangement of data sets.
Then can you please care to explain this part then?
Which one? So
You said arrangement of data sets. So please arrange this data set for me.
if it's 0 factorial, like when we were calculating factors, no? Factors of a number.
Yes.
So we were taking like number of 2's we have to choose. So we can take 2 or we cannot take 2.
Yes.
Similarly, the case is with here. 0 factorial means 1 and 1 factorial also is 1.
But why 0 factorial 1? Whatever you said till now is correct.
So
But I am not able to connect the dots over here.
choosing of a number by not choosing it is 1.
Okay.
And choosing of a number by choosing it is also 1.
Okay. Yeah, you are quite close. Almost there. Almost there. I would say 90% correct. See guys, I'll now step in. What is your factorial? Basically, if I say 5 factorial, that means in how many ways can you do the task if 5 objects are given? In how many ways can 5 objects be selected? Any order. Order matters in dozen way. So I can choose the first object, once I can choose the second object, then third, then fourth, then fifth, and so on. So I can choose the one object in one way, 2 objects I can choose only one first, and then the second or total, then that means in 2 ways, that is known as 2 factorial. Similarly, if we start arranging for 3 objects, we can choose and we will get 6 total number of ways, and so on. So factorial basically gives you the number of ways in which those objects can be chosen. So like it was correctly mentioned, choosing one number means just one way, and not choosing a number, which is what 0 factorial determines, is also one way, because in just one way you are not choosing a number. And that's why 0 factorial and 1 factorial are 1 coincidentally. A small fact, you don't need to remember it, but yeah, it helps sometimes. At least you can ask somebody that what does it mean, and generally people are being taught in the schools is, yeah, 1 factorial is 1, 0 factorial should not be 1, but for the sake of simplicity of calculations it is defined as 1. This will be the general answer, which is
That
not
is
wrong in a
so
particular
wrong.
way.
No, there
Yeah,
is a
I know.
proof is there, no? To prove
Yes.
0 factorial is 1.
Yeah, there's a proof. See, once you have a proof, you can try to, like you might have studied in chemistry itself, you know the final result, you can give whatever theory you wish to know the answer. But I know giving any theory, there's still a proper right logical way, and that is why knowing the proper logical way helps, so that you can distinguish what is right and what is wrong. Baki, I rest it. I leave the rest up to you, whatever you decide. But still, let's not deviate from what we were trying to discuss, and that is power of a number. So you will be given any x factorial. X will be any number, and you will be asked what is the power of k. That means, let's take 4 factorial and take 3. What is the power of 3 in 4 factorial? What does that mean, guys? Anybody?
How
Power
many
of 3.
how
Yes,
many times 3 is coming in the 4 factorial? I mean, how can it be break down to 3?
yes, 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 you're quite correct. You are quite correct. So, and there's a procedure for it. First, you will have to divide 4 by 3. What will you get?
1.
1.
1. Then choose the square part of it. How much do you get now?
0.
Why?
You're saying 4 divided by 9, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, 0 is the coefficient, we'll get 0 point something.
perfect. And why am I taking 3 square here?
Just to see if 3 square is actually is divisible by the number. If it is divisible, then it will definitely be a part of the series.
See, yeah, you are correct in a way. You're not wrong. See, given the factorial part, using this method, I wanted to see how many powers of 3 are there. But I will miss the powers of multiples of 3. Like 3 square is a multiple of 3, right?
Yes.
And it will contain pure powers of 3. There will be no mixture, like no 2, 3 into 2, no 3 into 4, no 3 into 7, no nothing. I just want pure powers of 3. That's why I had to take it 3 square. If I do next part 4 by 3 cube, and this is greatest integer function, guys. That means greatest integer function of 1.4 is 1. 1.6 is 1. I hope this part is clear, guys, and I don't need to explain this part.
Yes.
Anybody who does not know what is the greatest integer function? All right then. Then according to this, we'll move forward. But the only thing is it is just giving me 0, 0, zeros. So I can say the power of 3 in 4 factorial is 1. Let's do this for 25 factorial and find the power of 3. Please solve it, guys. Let's see. No, not 25. Let's take 28 factorial. Yeah. Please solve it, guys.
Kesri, here you meant purely I have to have the value of 9s and 27. It's not like 6 can be divided into 2 into 3 and 3 gets 3 square like that. Not like that, right? Hello. Hello.
Guys, can you please type in your answers again? I missed it because I lost the connection. No, Prerit. Your answer is not correct.
Kesari, I have a doubt. So
Yes.
here you're asking like I have to get the absolute number of 9, 27, 3 like that, but not something like 6 can be broken down to 2 into 3. So I get a power of 3
No,
square
no,
like that.
no, no, no. I want only the powers of 3, only the power of 3, not multiples.
Okay.
6 is a multiple of 3, but 9 comes in power of 3, right?
Right, right.
Yes, that's the difference. Manideep is telling 14, Anshula is telling 11. Let's see. Okay, let's solve it. We are being asked 28 by 3 then. What does this give? 9. Then let's move forward to 28 by 3 square. So 28 by 9 would give me 3. 28 by 28 by 9 it will give me 3. Then 28 by 3 ka cube, that will give me 1.
1.
After that, it will start giving me zeros because 3 raised to 4 would be 81, which will be greater than 28. Now when I add all these numbers, what do I get?
30.
Perfect. That is the answer. Now just to tell you what does the physical significance of 13 mean. So whenever you have 28 factorial, if you write 28 factorial 1 into 2 into 3 into so and so on 28 till 28, you will get some numbers in between like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. This will all be multiples of 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how many 3s can I bring from this? 1 from here, 1 from here, 2 from here, 1 from here, 1 from here, 2 from here, 1 from here, 1 from here, 3 from here. Add all the numbers, how much do you get?
13.
Do you get 13, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the physical significance of this number, that the maximum power of 3 that can divide 28 factorial is 3 raised to 13. If I take 3 raised to 14, it will give me a remainder. But if I take 3 raised to 13, that will be the maximum possible number that can divide 28 factorial and not leave a remainder. You will get the remainder 0. Understood this part, guys? I've seen a lot of students before. They generally give a rote learning to this formula, and when you ask them what is the power, they know the formula, they will state it, but they do not understand what does it mean sometimes.
Can you
And
explain?
in one second, and in CAT, you will not be directly asked what is the power. You will be asked in questions in this way: what is the maximum power of 3 that when divided by 28 factorial, that divides 28 factorial and does not leave a remainder? There you will have to understand, you have to use this formula. Yeah, go ahead now. Sorry, I did not entertain
Yeah,
it out at
I
that
got
time.
it. Got it.
Okay. Okay, then guys, any further doubts? Anybody? All right then. We have two important concepts to discuss. We'll do it in the next class tomorrow. Hopefully, it should get over in a 2-hour class if possible. But let's see how the speed of the class catches up, and that would be remainders and number systems. If you have studied in your 11-12 standard computer science, or if you're studying it now, you might know this a bit better. But don't worry, we'll touch all of these in great detail. So this remainder theorem generally has 2-3 methods, important methods like LCM method, and number system is a simple one, not much to do, but yeah, you have to know the general formula as what is to be done. Just a quick question. The number system which we use currently, 1 to 100 and all, what is the base of that number system?
10.
Does anybody?
10.
Sorry?
10.
Yes.
10.
Decimals.
Yes, perfectly. Great, then I don't think much time would be required in explaining number systems. But yeah, tomorrow we'll try to have a 2-hour session and try to wrap up numbers. If by chance some extra half an hour or so is remaining, I'll try to cover up it in the next lecture. But don't worry, more or less I'm great and happy to see the progress of the class with numbers, and hopefully do revise it, guys, because today even, and that's why I did not discuss a classwork. You will get 2 sheets from today, the classwork and the homework for the numbers of what we have covered till now. And that is basically numbers 1. The numbers 1 is the majority part. Numbers 2 consists of remainders, and number 3 consists of number systems. So I will upload shortly the numbers 1 worksheet at mostly by end of the day, and you will get your numbers 2 worksheet by tomorrow. And if we complete both of them, you will get your numbers 2 and numbers 3 worksheet as well. So that would be the plan. And after that, you will be receiving your worksheets just before the sessions. You no need to worry about that. This was only the case with numbers. I hope everybody is comfortable with this part. Any doubts till now?
No, from my side.
Okay. All right, then nobody has a doubt. Then we'll take a stop for today. Do revise it, guys. And yeah, before coming tomorrow, have all the concepts clear. All right, guys. Thank you then. I'll take a leave for today.
Thank you.